Miyamoto believed donkey meant stupid in English and assumed the name Donkey Kong would convey the sense stupid ape to an American audience. Why they gotta do my boy DK like that? Welcome to Professionally Casual Gamers, the podcast where two friends kick back after a long work week and casually talk about everything gaming. I'm your host, Alex, joined by my co-host and Steve Fox cosplayer, Ralph.
Most people don't even know who that is.
Yeah, so you can explain it to them.
Oh my god. So just a little bit of a background. I've been doing a lot of virtual VR boxing. And so Steve Fox is this boxer in Tekken. So that's so stupid.
He's actually really fun to play because I feel like his
skill
use
floor,
two
buttons.
Exactly. Yeah, his skill floor is like pretty low, so you can just like jump in and just start hitting the controller against your thigh and like do well against. But yeah, how have you been, man? What's up? Today is Sunday, 11/29.
I've been really good. I turned off my email on my phone.
Oh, nice.
So I am full in holiday mode, and I took tomorrow off, so I have a nice 5-day weekend.
Nice. So you don't have the Sunday scaries?
No, I do not. I am going to jump into work. We have an all-hands meeting. So I want to check out what's going on at the company. But overall, I will take a very good back seat for work until Tuesday.
Man, long weekends are a blessing and a curse. Like 80% blessing, then the 20% is like the day before you have to return. You're just like, oh man, not like this.
Yeah,
but it needs to happen.
What do you call it? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I was like, what is that noise? And I just realized it was my what do you call it? My fitness tracker on my watch. Because I just finished working out today. I'm so sorry, listeners.
It's telling you how great of a job you did.
Yeah, it's just like, you burned this many calories.
Good job.
Oh, man. But
that's cool.
Back to that. I'm just really excited because my favorite time of the year is roughly around Thanksgiving, at least where I work now. Because it's just like, it signifies just the holiday season for the company. Obviously, we have Thanksgiving off, and then Christmas comes off, and then we have a holiday break. So
I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah, so I think the office closes like December 23rd. Yeah, December 23rd, and we don't go back to the office until the 1st. And I might take up more PTO.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to for your wedding coming up.
Yeah, so it's going to be a nice chill time.
Nice. Awesome. Well, today we're kicking off episode 13. Oh, excuse me. As always, thank you to everyone who listens to our podcast. And if you're tuning in for the very first time, welcome. Ralph, give us the lowdown on your Thanksgiving. I'm sure if it was anything like mine, there were just way too many video games being played.
Yeah, so I actually, I know this sounds super sacrilege, but I actually ended up playing my Quest 2 more than I played my PS5.
Wow.
And
listeners are going to be pissed at that.
I'm so sorry, everyone. But with the PS5, I'm just kind of waiting for some more games to come out. Obviously, Alex are going to do a game swap. He's going to give me Demon Souls. I'm going to give him Miles Morales. And then I'm still playing the PS5 with Samantha, with Sackboy and stuff like that. And then I'm going to jump into Bugsnax eventually. But I'm really into my Quest 2 right now. So I'll talk about that later. But yes, a lot of gaming, a lot of sales, and that's just one of those things.
Black Friday. I love Black Friday. Like if we're not counting birthdays as a holiday,
Black Friday is your holiday.
How Friday
American of you.
Then Black Friday is my second favorite holiday.
Oh man. But funny thing, just a little bit segue. I haven't done this yet, but I am going to be picking up Call of Duty. So I'm going to pick up Call of Duty. My friends on the PS4 want me to play Call of Duty, and I know a lot of people are talking about the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. So I was like, why not?
There's like a YouTube video I saw where this dude like just demonstrated how different the adaptive triggers are with every gun, and it's just crazy. It's so cool.
Yeah, so love that technology. But yeah, Thanksgiving, fantastic. Still happening. I'm not working until Tuesday. How about you?
Yeah, that's true.
How about you?
Dude, my Thanksgiving was pretty awesome. Obviously with global circumstances going on, we just did it with my immediate family, which was still pretty cool. We didn't do turkey this year because my parents, for like health reasons, they didn't want to go through all the trouble of like, I mean, I don't know if you know, but like doing it, like preparing a turkey for Thanksgiving is extremely laborious. So they were like, well, we're just going to plan on doing chicken, but if like me, my brother, my sister, if you guys want to do the turkey, like feel free to do it. And I'm
you
like,
didn't
nope,
do anything.
Nope, I want to play PS5.
That's so funny.
Not messing with the turkey. But we did have like stuffing, pecan pie. Love pecan pie.
Yeah, I love pecan pie too. Seb does not like pecan pie. It makes me sad.
It baffles me.
She's a custard lady. She's an old woman.
Oh, okay.
She's an old woman.
Yeah, I can respect that. Green bean casserole, which is a hidden OP Thanksgiving dish.
Yeah.
It's hidden OP.
Oh, my God.
And mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes to me is like, it'll make or break the meal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like if the mashed potatoes are like too chunky or something or too dry, I'm just like, Thanksgiving's off. It's ruined. It's been canceled.
Don't worry. Hopefully this pandemic stuff is over next year, and I'll have a bunch of people over for Friendsgiving, and then I'll make sure the mashed potatoes is on point for you.
I'm so down with that.
We'll have
we did
like
an
fried turkey for you. Deep fried turkey.
I don't think I even want that.
Dude, deep fried turkey. I'm gonna tell you right now, deep fried turkey is the best thing in the world.
And then your heart stops, and you're just like, but you die with a smile on your face because it tasted so good.
Serious. So I personally don't like turkey, because in my opinion, turkey is very dry, regardless of how much butter you put in, how much you prep it, like, where you do, like, you put the butter underneath the skin and like make sure that it's super moist, but it's always super dry. Because
I always find myself putting a little bit of gravy on it.
Well, that's what the gravy is for, because everyone knows the turkey's super dry.
Right.
So the issue is, like, you're putting the turkey into the oven at, like, what, 300 or 350?
Something like
for,
that,
like, 6 hours. So, like, it takes so long to cook, and so it dries out the chicken. When you deep fry a turkey, not only is the skin super crispy, you only cook it for an hour, and so the turkey's super moist. It's almost like chicken, and it's so good. And not to mention, you're doing all the fun, crazy stuff, which is like the butter and like the really good stuff. I'm telling you right now. So
did you have that?
We had deep fried turkey at Samantha's parents. So we stopped by there for an hour. Obviously, it's just like a little bubble thing where we're limited households. And then we went to my parents. We did not have turkey there. But deep fried turkey, I'm telling you right now, will change your world.
Change my world.
Yes, when it comes to Thanksgiving.
I mean, dude, if you want to prepare it next year, I'll eat it.
Oh,
sure.
That's the plan. I'm telling you right now. And then when we have this podcast next year, you're gonna be like, Ralph, deep fried turkey changed my world.
All right. I'll make another like Instagram apology video, but like catered to the deep fried turkey.
I want you to wear a turkey hat. We'll do that.
Oh my God! Do you own a turkey hat?
No, I'll buy one though.
Okay. For the public humiliation, yeah. That's good though. And then, obviously when you're in like the food coma, might take a nap or you might down some coffee and then
eat some more
dive
food.
into some video games, which is exactly what I did. And it was such a great weekend. It's Sunday afternoon almost, but yeah, so we still have that day and I'm planning on knocking out a few more hours of gaming. For sure. But yeah, let's hear about your VR experience.
Yeah, so I don't know if I brought this up last week, but I traded my PS4 after I got my PS5. I was able to get a Quest VR 2, a Quest 2, essentially for free. And so on Black Friday, there was just a bunch of VR games for sale. So
do you get them on Steam?
Both. So
okay.
My friend Brendan actually taught me that your Quest can hook up to your PC. And as you know, I have a pretty beefy PC. And so what you can do is have a cord connected to your PC. But what he taught, and then from there, you can play Steam VR games onto your Quest, even though it's wireless. But he did teach me a fun hack where if you get virtual desktop, which is this desktop in your VR, and then you can get a streaming, a streaming drive on your PC. And so you can stream your desktop onto your Quest headset wirelessly. So you can essentially play those Steam VR games wireless, which is really amazing. And so,
could you play anything that's on your desktop?
yeah, you could. You could.
So you could play League of Legends.
You could play League of Legends. It wouldn't be in VR, but like it would look like a screen in VR.
Okay.
But the VR games like your Half-Life Alyx's, I Expect You to Die, or what do you call it? This game that we were playing called Carnage Chronicles. I was able to play that wirelessly. So there's a bunch of VR games that I was able to check out. Before I dive into that, that's my dog shaking. Before I dive into that, I did want to bring up Marvel Spider-Man.
Nice.
So I'm still playing Marvel Spider-Man.
Morales.
Yeah, Miles Morales. I did beat it, and it's a really fantastic game. I'm planning on platinuming it, and I'll bring it up in another podcast when we can do a deep dive on that. I am really annoyed that the platinum needs a second playthrough. Like that's such a weird thing for me. I just don't like New Game Plus platinums.
Well, it's not like that long of a game, right?
It's not.
Isn't it like 8 to 10 hours?
Right, it is, but it's just annoying because I'd rather just do the platinum in one playthrough, and so it's annoying to me that you have to do 2 playthroughs for it. And it's a good game, and I would love to experience it again, which I am. It's just I don't think it's
just
a
the principle.
Good, yeah, it's not a good planning, right? Because
it's not good game design. I agree with that.
Yeah, so I will be playing that later. Hopefully I can platinum that over the weekend. Shouldn't be too bad. But the VR games, oh man, I love them.
But back to the VR games.
Back to the VR games. There's one VR game that I wanted to call out specifically. So there's this game called Population 1 that I played with my friend Brendan, and it is essentially a Fortnite game in VR. And it is so good. It's probably one of the best.
I think my roommate wanted to play that too. I don't think he ever actually got around to it, or maybe he did while I wasn't around. But yeah, he talked it up pretty well.
It is so good. I was so surprised because when I saw it, I was like, Brendan wanted me to pick it up, and I was like, okay, I'll pick it up because I want to be VR buddy. But I was like, I don't want to get sick. This is one of those games. And I don't typically get sick in VR games. It's just one of those VR games where if it's a lot of locomotion, I will get sick. But I did not get sick playing this game. I had such a fun time playing this VR game. So the reason I was scared I was going to get sick is that you can do, so with Fortnite, obviously, or PUBG, you can like parachute off a plane. You're essentially doing that.
Yeah,
so you're free falling. That's one. And 2, it's locomotion. It's not. I don't think it's teleportation because that'd be weird. And 3, you can climb stuff.
I've never experienced that in VR.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of climbing stuff, and then you're doing the guns, and it's super fun. It's super cool. So I was scared I was gonna get sick, but it was so fun, dude.
Do you move with the joystick, or do you walk?
Okay. You move with the joystick, and you can walk around. But the gunplay feels really good. It's just a really good vibe. And we Brett and I were able to link up with this person named Breezy, like online, and we added each other's threads, and we just had such a fun time for like 2 hours. And we won. We won a full game, like on our second try. So it was really cool.
How many people are in the battle royale?
I think there's like 6 squads. Like I think around
6 squads of 3.
6 squads of 3. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's I would highly recommend it to everyone. Very Fortnite. You can build stuff.
What's it called again?
Population 1. So if you have a quest, hit me up. I'm totally down to play with you guys. It's really cool. So highly recommended. That's what I'm itching to go back and play. And I did. I haven't played it yet. I did buy this anime game in VR. And
Let's go!
I'm really excited to play.
What is it?
I forgot the name. It had a lot of good reviews. It was on sale for Black Friday on Quest, and
it's like an RPG, or is it like?
I think it's like a visual novel. It's like a visual novel. Yeah.
Oh god!
And so,
all the things to do with VR,
dude,
you're gonna read.
No, it's not gonna be a visual. It's gonna be voice acted and stuff like that. But what
that doesn't really change much.
Well, I'm gonna stream it today, so maybe you'll come.
Just shoot me a text if I don't get the notification.
Yeah. One thing. Well, no. So here's the thing. All right, with the VR thing is that it's just an experience that I haven't had yet in VR. So I was very excited to check it out. Right. So I've done the shooter thing. I've done the racing thing. I've done a lot of things in VR. The fishing, whatever, boxing.
Fishing.
But
that's right. You did.
It looks really good. And one thing, if you guys don't know, is that Facebook and Oculus are very like they're very tight-lipped with their storefront. Wow, we're having some audio issues. But like I was saying, Facebook and Oculus are very much particular with the type of games that are going to be on their platform. So not everyone can put their stuff onto the store. It's not like this. It's not similar to Steam, where if you're a dev and then you want your game on the store, you can just upload it and then you can start selling it.
I like that.
Yeah. So that game, the visual novel game on Facebook and the Oculus store, I think is going to be very good because one, it was reviewed really well by the users, and two, there should be already a level of quality to that game because it was able to get to the store. So I'm really excited to check that out. But other than that, a lot of VR stuff, and I'm really excited. I feel like I'm playing so many games right now, so it's hard to really focus on what I'm playing. But I'm really enjoying it.
For you, it's either you're playing Persona 5 Royal or you're playing like 10 different VR games.
Yeah. It's not bad. How about you, Alex? What are you playing? I know you're playing Dark Souls. Tell me about that. Or Demon Souls.
Yeah, please, Ralph. Oh my gosh. So last time we spoke, last episode, I had not played the PS5 at all. Then literally right after we were done recording, I just booted that bad boy up and started playing Astro's Playroom.
Yeah.
I did get the platinum on it. I know you talked about it, so I'm not going to harp on too much. I think it should definitely be a nominee.
I knew it. See,
yeah.
You didn't believe me. You didn't believe me at all.
It's one of those things where like it looks like very like whatever, but then you play and you're like, oh, so this is the future.
This is the good stuff.
And then, with like Thanksgiving, you got your family coming over. And so
did you make them try it?
People were curious about the PS5, so I had them try it on. So they were able to experience like the 3D audio, the haptic feedback from the controller. I mean, obviously like the 4K visuals, and most importantly, those adaptive triggers. And they're like, oh man, like as soon as like my sister was playing, and as soon as like she went down the slide and like the cooling springs, and like dipped into the water, she jumped over. She's like, oh my god. Like, that's so cool. I'm like, yeah, it is. Unfortunately, since I did platinum it, I got all the, like, the gacha, like, the crane things.
So they weren't able to do the little smash.
Yeah, so for anyone who hasn't had the chance to play Astro's Playroom or, because getting a PS5 is, like, damn near impossible, you get coins throughout the levels in Astro's Playroom, and at the end, in, like, the hub world, you can do this little claw game thing, where on L2, like you pull back the claw machine, and then you do R2 to like crush this ball to like reveal what you won. And like the triggers just work so well with that, and it's super satisfying. Like normally those like random gacha elements are like pretty cringy and like everyone hates them, but that was like one of my most memorable parts of the game, to be honest.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I planned it. It took me like 2.5 days to do. It was not bad, and I was very happy to do that because I was very satisfied with that game, so I wanted to do it justice in that regard. And then I moved on to Demon Souls, which...
Tell me about it, man.
Okay,
I'm hoping.
First of all, moving from Astro's Playroom to Demon Souls in terms of like the haptic feedback and the triggers was a little disappointing because there really isn't that much integration. They have to make
it more subtle, dude. Like literally, Astro's Playroom is the showpiece for the controller.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If everything was like haptic feedback.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is like that game, Astro's Playroom, while like it's amazing because it showcases it, don't expect every one PS5 game and two even every like PS5 exclusive to do all that. Like in terms of like the triggers, I don't think there's any.
But it still had stuff, right? How about the bow? I'm sure they have the link for the bow.
Oh, you use L1 and R1 for that.
Okay.
So I don't know. I didn't even use the bow, so it may have. But there was some like subtle rumbling, like if you hit your sword against a wall, which happens a lot, because they love their tight corridors. Depending on like what side you are, like what arm you're using the sword, like there'll be like some rumble on that side. So that was cool. But I will say the 3D audio in Demon Souls is fantastic.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of times when like you go against archers or spellcasters, and if the attack misses you and like let's say it goes past like the right side of your head, you'll just like barely hear like that whistle on like,
that's
the
so
right
cool.
headphone. Yeah, so it was really cool. Like in that, it really shined. I thought it like in that case it was better than Astro's Playroom, just for the 3D audio. So it was really cool. Again, this is the Demon Souls was originally on the PS3. I didn't play it at launch. I'm not sure actually when it launched in the PS3's lifetime, but I played it probably like a year after. And it was the first Souls game I ever played. And now they're pretty popular. They've even have stuff like Bloodborne, Sekiro.
Hipster Alex. I played it at launch. It was the first Souls games that I ever played. Now they're pretty popular.
I did not play it at launch.
Oh.
Yeah, I did not. I wish I did though, because like it's super great memories with that game. So yeah, so they remade it from the ground up. But in terms of like gameplay, it's basically the same.
Yeah.
Right. So they did take out some of the cheesy mechanics. Like there's one boss called the Man-Eater, where you fight one of them, and then it's exactly like either 200 seconds have passed in the fight, or you get the boss down to 20% HP, and then a second one appears.
Oh no! So 2 bosses.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun with that one. But in the original Demon Souls on the PS3, you could cheese the boss and kill one of them before the fight even starts.
Okay.
But in this one, they took it out. So it is basically the same game, but they took out some of the janky like glitches.
Right. And I know that Blue Point made sure that they weren't going to mess with the code. And so that was one thing that they wanted to make sure for fans, because I know a lot of fans were like, "Oh, they're gonna ruin the feel of the game. It's not gonna feel the same. The remake. They're gonna try and change it." What do you think? Like, is it primarily the same? Does it feel correct when you're playing it?
Yeah, and I want to say Blue Point did the Shadow of the Colossus remake as well. So
they're really good at that.
Yeah, so people were, while they were, I guess, skeptical or worried, I will say, about this remake, people were like, you know what they did? They knocked that Shadow of the Colossus remake out of the park, so we're in good hands with it. And we really were, because I will say, out of all the Souls games I've played, Demon Souls has the best atmosphere and like vibe. All right, so to kind of put things into perspective, you have this central hub world. So think of like Mario 64, where like Peach's castle is the hub world. And then you go through like the paintings to go into the different worlds. Right. Kind of similar to Demon Souls. There's 5 different areas you can access from the hub world. And if you showed me like a still frame or like a picture, I would be able to tell you, oh, that's from this world. That's from like World 3. That's cool. From World 5.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, like each one has its own.
It's not like a boring kind of feel, because that's one thing that I played Bloodborne, obviously. And Bloodborne, fantastic game, still very samey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
Victorian. The Victorian era like stuff is cool, but yeah.
Yeah. So the environments seem very different for Demon Souls.
Yeah, it's all very different. All have like it's crazy because the vibe is it's eerie.
It's gray and dark.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
But it's different from each one.
That's
like
cool.
They're all eerie and creepy in like their own way, and so I don't think the game was that hard. There are 2 bosses that were pretty difficult.
Well, you know how to beat them already, right? Like you know how to beat.
I had forgotten.
Oh, really?
Most of the bosses. It's just now that I've played a lot of the Souls games, I was honestly able to zip through it. Like I remember in Demon Souls when I played originally, I didn't even like upgrade my weapon because I didn't really understand that system or mechanic, and now I'm like, okay, I just need the Sharpstone shards, and I did it. So like the final boss I beat on my first try.
Oh wow, humble brag over here.
No. And I know that sounds super braggy.
I beat it on my first try. It wasn't even hard.
But like other people who are like maybe not even like veterans of the Souls games, but like have played one or two before, they'll be like, okay, yeah, this is a lot easier. But that doesn't mean it's a bad game by any means. Like it's getting great reviews, and I think a lot of that is one because like the 3D audio is just it's magnificent. It's sexy, honestly. Yeah. It's sexy, and just the environment, the vibe. Like, oh man, the vibe is palpable, as you've said in the past in Demon Souls. It's very memorable. So I'm happy to lend it to you, and I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about it. I think you're going to have fun with it. Two questions for me.
One, are you going to platinum this? And then two, is this better than Final Fantasy Remake?
No, to the second one, definitely. Not better than Final Fantasy VII Remake. And am I going to platinum it? I don't know. Not this year, at least.
Yeah. Okay.
I have other stuff to play, and I don't really like have a need to. I don't know. I might though. Like maybe down the road.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It sounds like you enjoyed yourself with Demon Souls, but you don't sound very impressed. Like, is that a weird thing that I'm picking up, or?
It was a nice trip down memory lane.
Okay, so you would say that this Demon Souls remake is nice for people that played it, but it's going to be a better experience for people for first timers. Would you say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Okay. Because it's just a totally new game for them.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out.
Out of all the bosses, only 2 of them gave me issues.
I'm kind of worried because
I mean, there was
I'm going to borrow
stuff.
This, and I'm scared you're going to make me play it while you're here when we do Game
I definitely
want
to watch you
watch me play this stupid game.
Yeah, there. I mean, there was some stuff that were outdated. In the game that I wish they changed. I mean, I understand why they didn't, because Blue Point, their stance was, we're just going to make this beautiful. It's going to be the same game, basically, that you remember. It's just, we're going to remake it from the ground up, which I totally respect. That's the safer route. People are going to love it. But yeah, there's some stuff, like there's a boss that is basically a stealth mechanic boss.
Hate it.
But there's literally, up until then, no stealth mechanics involved in the game. Okay. So
it feels like
pretty poorly designed
flash of cold water on your face.
Yeah, but overall, like, very good game. It's been getting like 9s, or like 90s on like Metacritic and stuff, and I think that's a little too high.
Well,
but maybe I'm just a skeptic because I've played some of the Souls games, so I don't know.
I think you were just hoping it was longer because you're like, it's too easy. Because I'm sure you beat it in what, like 8 hours? It sounds.
No. It was 20 hours.
Oh my! You make it sound like it's so short. You're like, oh yeah, like I ran through all these bosses, beat it in 20 hours. That's a big game.
Honestly, the bosses are overall like kind of easy, but some of the areas to like get to the bosses are hard.
Okay.
So yeah, it's overall good game. If you're looking for a PS5 game to play, other than like Miles Morales and Sackboy, I would recommend picking up Demon Souls. It's a good time.
For sure.
And I still need to play Last of Us 2 for Game of the Year, but because Demon Souls is so dreary and like just eerie, I needed something like bright and happy to fill the void. So I've been playing Persona 4 dancing all night.
I'm kind of excited. Are you gonna play? Do you think you're gonna play Last of Us before you come over for Game of the Year talks?
Yeah. So I'm gonna get the platinum for Persona 4 Dancing All Night, which shouldn't take very long. I think I'm like halfway there. I started yesterday.
I'm so excited for a Game of the Year talk because I'm assuming we're gonna do like a weird little like a sleepover. Because what do you call it? Cyberpunk.
We'll bake cookies.
Cyberpunk comes out on the 9th.
Oh,
so this is gonna be a great weekend. So
true that. But yeah, so revisiting the Persona 4 characters, that's been fun. But yeah, nothing really too crazy going on there. It's a rhythm game. It's fun. Persona has great music, so why not just have their own game for that? But yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, so yeah, overall, not too much industry news to move forward with, but
all the news was Black Friday sale.
I know, yeah. Actually, a lot of it was just, hey, Nintendo games are like $40,
which is still so expensive. Can we talk about the fact that Breath of the Wild is still $40 after like 3 years?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is the last Black Friday was $25, and I don't think it dipped that low this year. I could be wrong, but I don't think it did.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy to me.
But Fire Emblem is less than 30, which is eye-opening to me.
But anime, it's like Nintendo's were like, no one wants to play this anime game. Let's sell it
Honestly,
for cheap.
you can drink tea with them though. So,
Yeah.
oh man, okay, yeah. But first piece of industry news: Phil Spencer, who is the head of like the Microsoft Game Studios, he spoke with The Verge, which is a credible and popular news source about tribalism in the gaming community. In the interview, Spencer says he finds toxic brand loyalty to be distasteful and despises the idea that companies like Microsoft have to see others fail in order to achieve their goals. That tribalism in the industry, if there was anything that would ever drive me out of the industry, it's actually that. Okay, so I will say, so I literally copied and pasted that segment from The Verge. I did go back and read the whole interview, and he says that in his statement where despise the idea that companies like Microsoft have to see others fail in order to achieve their goals or succeed. He's talking about fans feeling that way.
Okay.
So he thinks that there is, a large set of fans, like PlayStation fans, that they, in order to see PlayStation succeed, they need to see Microsoft fail. Okay, so it's not that game developers need to see other companies fail in order to see themselves succeed, which is how this quote kind of makes you feel, which raised like a huge eyebrow for me when I first read it. But yeah, upon reading the whole interview, so moral of the story, it's easy to take things out of context, even if it's not necessarily your fault. Just websites do that. So it's always important to read the whole interview. So I guess we'll start with this. How do you feel about
that statement?
Tribalism in the gaming community nowadays, Ralph?
I think it's
always, do you think it's
here's the thing, it's always been around. Like it's like this is not something new. This is not something that's been like resurfaced or whatever. It's been around since Sega and like Nintendo. It's been around since PlayStation and Nintendo. Like literally PlayStation's ad campaign when it first came out was PlayStation does what Nintendo don't. That was their tagline. So it's these type of things I would even say is facilitated by these companies. So it's a little bit interesting to me because these marketing campaigns that these companies do is the reason this type of tribalism exists. So I'm a little bit confused.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's kind of ironic that Phil Spencer is someone saying this because, and I'm not sure, and he wasn't the one who did this, but if you remember back for the PS5 pre-order thing, that whole fiasco, Xbox had a tweet that was pretty like a direct reference to, hey, here are the exact details of our pre-order. We're not clear about communication, whereas Sony isn't.
Yeah, so like it's just a little bit confusing to me that he would say something like this because these companies are the reason that this type of tribalism exists, right? And
I won't say they're the reason, but they contribute to it,
right? And I think part of that is the games industry is becoming more brand loyal. I don't know if
I would agree.
Started to notice that, but like
they're building their own ecosystems.
Correct, because obviously there's a lot of Nintendo players who are very brand loyal, right? There's ride or die Nintendo fans, but I think Sony is getting there really quickly with brand loyalty for their players, and maybe the reason Phil Spencer is saying this about the industry is that Xbox feels a little bit behind, right? Obviously, there's a lot of people that really love their Halo, and there's some people that really love their Gears. But across the board, there's just more icons coming from Nintendo and Sony nowadays that their fans are able to rally behind. Right? Even on the podcast, we can say, oh, like, yes, it's really like Game Pass is really cool and it's really awesome, but does it have God of War? Does it have Horizon Zero Dawn? Does it have Infamous? Does it have Astrobot? Does it have Ratchet and Clank? That one of those things with very current games compared to like they have Halo and they have Gears, I guess, but there's not really anything else there. So
yeah, and then it's the idea of tribalism is Xbox has purchased all these game studios
Right.
to have more exclusivity, to have the Microsoft players think, hey, I'm proud to be an Xbox
Right.
player, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's, and I don't know if he made this clear in his statements, but I think there's a line between being a fanboy or a fan and being tribalistic.
Right. And I don't think, maybe that's just an assumption that they're having, or maybe I'm a nicer person online, but I just don't see players wanting other companies to fail, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
That's-
sure, like,
I've never,
I think it's,
like-
I think it's more along the lines of like, oh, like, I love PlayStation. This is the reason you should play PlayStation, because you want your other friends that's not playing on PlayStation to buy PlayStation so you can play with them. I don't see the idea of like, oh, I want Microsoft to play, so to fail, so that the other people will jump onto PlayStation. I want Microsoft to succeed. Like, it's like a weird thing. Like, I want Microsoft to succeed, because if Microsoft succeeds, that means there's better games to play. You know what I mean? So like,
exactly.
It's
As
a
much
little
as
bit
we
confusing
rag
to me.
Yeah, as much as we rag on Xbox, like, we both love the Xbox 360.
Right.
Like, it was such a great console, and it would be fantastic to see them become great again. So like, that would justify me getting an Xbox Series S.
Alex Samuel, the Donald Trump of video games.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, make Xbox great again. Oh no. Oh God. I don't want.
I'm gonna make a picture and post it on social.
Yeah, with the hair and everything.
Yeah.
Give me like 50 pounds. Yeah.
But I digress. But like, I don't want Xbox to fail, because there are games on Sony that I could care less about. For example, like, a lot of people love Gran Turismo on PlayStation. It's not my type of game because it's a sim game. And so I'm very excited for the new Forza Horizon game whenever that comes out, because it's really different, like, strokes for different folks. You know what I mean? So like, if there is less variety in the industry, if there's companies that fail, that means there's less games that you could potentially play. Right. So I'm just a little bit confused by that statement. I can see where he's coming from, but I don't necessarily believe that it's true.
Yeah. And in the whole interview, what sparked this, I guess I'll call it a tangent about tribalism, is he said like his wife had told him about videos of people running over Xbox Series X's. And I'm like, dude, that's just for the YouTube 5 seconds of interview or internet fame.
Yeah, that's just for internet, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think he's being dramatic about it. Does tribalism, does fanboyism exist? Yes.
Mozzie. Sorry, dogs.
Mozzie also feels strongly about console tribalism. And I know in the past, Phil Spencer has done like live panels or like speeches about like, hey, we should be more positive in the gaming community. We shouldn't be as toxic, which is good.
But I would say, so maybe that's I would challenge that statement because they're behind. Honestly, like, I would say,
I think it definitely has some factor in it. Yeah,
because Xbox was not the nicest player when it was ahead, when it was the Xbox 360 days.
Totally.
Xbox 360 days are like, we're the best. We're going to do all of these amazing things. And so then Sony was being very good, like, during that time, right? To like, oh, we're going to have exclusives every month, you know, like with the PS3. So it's just, I feel like he's making these statements about, oh, like, Xbox is really good and we're really pro-consumer because they need to, right? Because they need to really fix that image that they have, because they don't have the games to back it up.
Yeah, it's also a little funny because when you think of like the typical toxic gamer, at least on consoles, it's an Xbox gamer.
Oh man, wow, you're making some hot takes here.
No, right? Like,
you're making some assumptions here,
dude. Like Xbox Live, little teenagers on Call of Duty, like that's the meme.
I'm not gonna die on this hill. You can die on this hill by yourself.
I'm not saying that there aren't toxic Sony gamers. It's just like when you think of a toxic console gamer, like it's someone on the Xbox.
Yeah. Well,
that being said, do you think like toxicity in the console wars is as bad as it used to be? I don't think it is, but maybe it's just because we're growing up and we're like more mature about it.
I personally don't think it is. At least with the people that I talk to about games, are very like
Hmm.
respectful about like what you're. It's not even like a respect thing. Like it's every time I talk to someone from that has an Xbox, they're like, "Oh yeah, I wish I could play that," or like, "Oh yeah, I wish I could play this." It's very like cordial discourse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's nothing too crazy. It's maybe it's on the younger generation. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
That makes me
imagine like
sound so old.
dumb high schoolers will always have like something to argue about. But I'm thinking to myself, like, even when I was in high school, like I dominantly played on PS3.
Mhm.
I was still like I still had an Xbox 360. My brother mostly played it, but I was mostly I mean I was down for it.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, like this seems really cool. Like Fable 3 is coming out and they're like
Right.
mixing up the formula a little bit. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think other players want other companies to fail. Like that
Yeah,
just
I don't.
doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah, I read that, and I mean, it first didn't make sense because the snippet that The Verge took out, it makes it seem like other devs want
Hmm.
other devs to fail, but it's just Sony fanboys want Microsoft to fail, which I don't. Yeah, I don't see it that way, or vice versa.
Right.
I don't know. But listeners, I mean, if you have, I mean, we're only, two people in the grand scheme of things. If you've heard anything like that, it's different than our story, please let us know. I would be very down to dive into that further if there is anything else to dive into. But yeah,
Hmm.
Phil Spencer did end that whole talk with, we should just be positive, look towards like playing together and the positive features that gaming has brought in, like crossplay. That's really great. So overall, like that's fine.
Right.
But yeah, it is what it is. Next piece of gaming news: Steam adds controller support for PS5's DualSense.
Hmm.
Games will be able to access the DualSense's LED trackpad, which is the middle thing on the
Right.
controller, the rumble and gyro features. There's no mention of support for its adaptive triggers. The functionality is currently available in Steam's public beta client, with plans for a full release after further testing. Ralph, do you think there's any shot we get the adaptive trigger support on Steam games in the future?
I would hope so, because if that does happen, I think it's in Sony's best interest. Because the PC market, I believe, is much bigger than the console market. And so if
Yeah.
you can have these controllers that are supported on Steam and people end up buying controllers, and it causes people to buy games on Steam just for DualSense stuff, I think it's in the better. It's a good idea for Sony to facilitate something like that, because it would create more support for third party games. And so
Hmm.
with more support from third party games, then it'll make PlayStation players more excited, because then their PlayStation 5 third party games will have some sort of DualSense support. Because I don't think Assassin's Creed Valhalla has support for DualSense, and I don't believe Watch Dogs Legion has
Okay.
support for DualSense. The only third party games that have DualSense support is, I think, Call of Duty and what was it? What's the other one? 2K.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I think if we're able to get that on the PC, there's going to be more support, because more people will be more excited about that, and so it'll not force the devs, but it'll incentivize third party developers to implement some DualSense functionality to those games.
Yeah. And I honestly, at first when I thought about this, I'm like, there's no way. Because it seems like when Sony's like, hey, you guys can't make face plates, only we can do that. So the idea of them handing over like the tech or like the APIs for their
Mm-hmm.
duals or the triggers to Steam seemed a little unlikely. But then I thought, hey, Horizon is
Right.
coming to PC. And I feel like other PS4 exclusives were too. Maybe like Days
That's
Gone,
Death Stranding was
Death
on
Stranding.
there.
That's right.
What do you call
There
it?
was talk of like Final Fantasy VII remake coming out
Not a
there too. So,
chance.
no, I
Not a chance. I don't believe it.
you don't believe. I mean, there's
No
a
way.
lot of Final Fantasy games are on Steam.
Right, but it's like the same thing of like, that's a flagship PS5 game or PS4 game. I don't think it'll touch Steam.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, regardless, we're seeing some PS4
Maybe like
or
7 years
PlayStation
from now.
exclusives. Yeah, right. And I think Final Fantasy 16. I think there's a shot that'll be on PC.
Yeah.
So
16 I could see, but I think having 7 on a Sony console is just such a
Yeah.
good, like it's the only place you can play it.
Yeah, 7 it's different than the others. I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy 7 has a holiday in Japan.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah. So who knows, with those exclusives coming to PC, I think there's definitely a good shot that we get the trigger support, which is really cool because as we have been harping on about in this episode and the last one, like those triggers, those adaptive triggers are super great.
And I don't think the Dualsense is supported yet. I think the Dualsense is supported. I don't think the haptic feedback is supported, right? It's just the rumble. It rumbles. Haptic feedback and rumble is very different.
Okay. Yeah, I guess not then. I would imagine we'd get the haptic feedback before the triggers.
Yeah. So, because like rumble, your controller rumbles is very different than, oh, like it feels like there's lightning in my fingers. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's too bad.
Yeah, I think it's different tech.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get those though, because that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
The more the merrier.
For sure.
All right, and let's move on to some budget gaming, some deals of the past week. For Xbox, I couldn't actually find legitimate deals, but here's some stuff that was recently added to Game Pass, which is most important anyways. Got some Star Wars stuff.
Oh, dude, is that on Game Pass is that just for Xbox or PC?
It's at least just for Xbox. I'm not sure if it was added to PC, but Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is very good. Mm-hmm. It's a Souls-like. Definitely has that similar vibe.
I guess it is. Yeah.
It's fun. Like honestly, okay, so people have talked about this and said this, and I agree with it. If it wasn't Star Wars, it would be a very mediocre game.
Wow.
Which I agree with. But it is Star Wars and it is a Souls-like, so it's fun. It definitely uses that atmosphere and universe to its advantage. And Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is very, very infamous, right, for its launch with the...
Yeah, but they supported it. The EA supported it. That sounds so
exactly.
Crazy.
Originally terrible with like the loot boxes and like the grindy, but then because the internet won, right? The internet won. That we got it to... We got the devs to change it. So it's actually a pretty decent game.
Right.
So if you can play for free, why not? PlayStation, we still have some Black Friday deals that Ralph pointed out last week. Just to go over some of the heavy hitters, Watch Dogs Legion, $40. Last of Us 2, $30. Ghost of Tsushima, which we highly recommend, $40. And Catherine Full Body, $23.99.
Oh my god.
Which I purchased to push my PS5 to the limit. Nintendo, like we mentioned earlier in the episode, a lot of first-party games are $40 and under.
Can we note about the Nintendo? Nintendo annoys me so much because literally there's so many games that are on sale, like physically in stores.
Yeah,
like your Mario Kart, your Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, and it's not on sale on their eShop. And it bugs me so much.
I don't even look at their eShop because I'd rather just own the Nintendo ones physically. I know you're kind of in the same boat with that.
Right. Yeah, I am on the same boat, but like at least give people the option. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's silly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Nintendo, they do a lot of great things, but then they also do a lot of like nonsensical, illogical things. Kind of like not supporting the Smash scene, which we didn't really get into, which was like last week's news too. But yeah, I'm sure like if you have an ear to the industry, you've been hearing about that. I'm not happy about it, but whatever. Anyways, Steam, Among Us, huge discount, now $3.99. It's normally $4.99. I actually do play it on the computer, and it's way better than playing on mobile.
But it's free on mobile.
Yeah, it is. And like it's obviously more accessible, like travel friendly mobile. But yeah, I would recommend, like, if you play it like every week or so, it might be good to invest the $4 into that. FIFA 21, $34.79, and Epic Game Store, check it out. We got Mud Runner for free.
Okay, I'm upset. First and foremost, there's a bunch of sales on Epic Game Store. I don't know if you looked at those.
Yeah, but Mud Runner is free.
All right. That's good. I do want to note before we separate from, because Alex doesn't have anything for Epic Game Store. After Party is on sale there, which is like this game I want to check out.
Oh, that's the game you wanted to check out, the indie one.
And
right?
then No Straight Roads, which is like this music action game, is on sale there too. So check those out if you can.
Yeah, also Mud Runner. Cool. Thank you for sticking around for our 13th episode of Professionally Casual Gamers. We had a lot of fun hanging out with each other, and we hope you did too. If you have any discussion topics or questions, send it over on professionallycasualgamers@gmail.com or on our Instagram/Twitter @professionallycasualgamers. See you next week, and keep it casual.
Bye.